Hi everybody, I've got a full body workout for you today. We're going to do 3 sets. We're going to do 12 of each exercise that I have for you. And then we're going to use just some equipment that you should have at home. You can use regular gym equipment for this. You can use just body weight for this as well. So let's get started. Hopefully you've done a warm-up. If you haven't, please stop the video, go do a warm-up real quick. Warm-ups are so important. Please don't skip that. So get warmed up. If you're already warmed up, then let's go. We're going to be using a gallon of water. This is used in place of a kettlebell today. It can also be used in place of 2 heavy dumbbells. You can use 2 of them or just even 1 heavy dumbbell. So 1 gallon of water. We also are using 2 bottles of water in place of dumbbells. So these are going to be used for that. Again, you can use gym equipment for this if you would like. I'm just giving you options for if you don't have any fancy gym equipment at home. This is a knee high. I went to the dollar store and just bought a box of some legs knee highs. This is going to be used in place of a resistance band. It's elastic, it works, so we're going to use it today. So when we get to that exercise, I'll give you some different ways you can use it for this same exercise, and we'll go from there. All right, so the first one we're going to do, you're going to grab your gallon of water. We're going to do a goblet squat. So you're going to have your feet just slightly wider than you would for a normal squat. You can have both hands around the handle if they're small enough, or you can place one on the bottom for support and the other hand through the handle. You're going to keep it right about your chest height. That's where you hold your weight for a goblet squat. Then you're just going to simply squat down. And when you squat, you want to make sure that you're sitting your hips back, keep your chest high, toes up. All your weight should be through your heels, and push through those heels. And then from the front view, make sure your knees are going out the same direction as your toes. You don't want them way out here. You don't want them to go in. Make sure they're going in the same path. Okay. Now we're going to move on to an overhead press with our water bottles. So for this, you're going to have a staggered stance. You can just have a regular stance. Since these are so lightweight, we're not working the core a ton here. We're still working it some, but it's not super heavy. When you start to get really heavy weights, it's really important to have that staggered stance so that you have that core stability. Because what a lot of people will do when they don't have that staggered stance and it gets really heavy, they'll start to lean back, or they'll start to arch their back to try to push it up, because it uses a lot of core to push that weight up and keep your body still. So this prevents you from being able to do that. So staggered stance, starting at 90 degrees, pushing straight up. I will usually have most of my weight in my back foot, just it's more comfortable for me. So whatever way is the most comfortable for you. Okay, now we're going to grab that knee high and we're going to go into a row. So I'm going to be on my hands and knees doing this. You can also wrap it around a doorknob. You just wrap it around this way and pull. We can also wrap it around a chair, like the back of a chair. If you have like a chair that has poles in it, you wrap it around those poles and pull. I'm just simply going to do hands and knees, just trying to keep the equipment very basic. So I'm wrapping it around the palm of my hand. I'm going to place my palm right between both shoulders, so it's right in the middle, so I have stability. You want your knees directly under your hips, and then you're just going to take it, take both ends and pull back toward your hip. So up and back. You should feel your shoulder blade come up and feel it moving like towards your spine. Okay, now we're going to switch sides. I'm just spinning around so you can see both sides visibly. You don't have to switch since you're at home. Again, up and back. And this is working those trapezius muscles in your back. So those muscles that help with pulling movements. That's why we're pulling, so that you have better mobility for that. All right, next one, we're grabbing the gallon of water again. We're gonna do a deadlift. So this can be done without anything at all. If you're doing that, hands just go simply behind your head. Don't push on your head, they should just be placed there. Bending at your hip. You have a slight bend in your knees. It's not much, just a little. Just to kind of get your butt stuck back a little bit. And then you're going to just lean forward, keep your back flat. Something that really helps is trying to puff out your chest. We're very rounded over from just being in 2022 with texting, computers, all that stuff. So really stick your chest out. It might feel awkward, but it's really going to help you keep your back flat. And bend and up. Pretend like you're being pulled down with a rope around your neck. And when you come back up, pretend like somebody has a rope around here and they're pulling you this way. So pulling down and pulling forward. Now if you're using the resistance or the weight, feet hip width apart, same for the no weight. And you can try to get your hands in here. If not, you can just use a couple fingers. And we're going to bend, touch the weight all the way down, and back up. Now you should feel that in your glutes and hamstrings, especially your hamstrings. That's what we're really focusing on with that movement. If you're feeling it in your core, then you're not keeping your core tight enough. And if you're struggling with that, then just go to the good mornings, drop the weight until your core gets until your core gets stronger. Then you can try to add your weight and do your deadlift. But that's all core. If you're feeling it in your low back, you should not feel it in your low back otherwise. So now, moving down to the ground, you can have your feet just a little ways from your glutes. You want your hips, knees, ankles all in line with each other. They should all feel very parallel. And hands down at your side, push your back into the ground. You might feel your pelvis tilt up. That's fine. That's bringing your core in tight, pushing that back into the ground. Then you're just going to simply lift your knee and tap your toe back to the ground. You can keep your heels up on this and just touch your toes down. And we're doing 24 of these to get 12 on each side. feels like a small movement, but it's really doing a lot in that deep core. So now we're going back to the very first movement, that goblet squat. So get that gallon of water again, and we're gonna squat it out. Hopefully you're enjoying your tunes that you've got going on, having some fun with this. Okay, now grab those water bottles, overhead press, stagger your stance, 90 degrees and up. And on this one, be sure that you're not letting your shoulders come up. If that's the case, drop the weight. Just focus on keeping those shoulders down and push up. Again, that comes from a lot of our scrunched over behavior that we do all the time. So you want to try to keep those shoulders back and down. All right, grab that resistance band or knee high again. If you think of any other creative ways to do this movement with this, then send them to me. I'd love to see them. Being creative with your workouts just makes it fun. And who doesn't want to have fun with this? If you've got to do it, might as well have fun, right? Now notice that I'm keeping the move slow, because cranking is not going to do anything for that muscle. To work the muscle, you want to make sure that you're getting the full range of motion. Okay, and now that deadlift begins. So grab that gallon and stick those glutes back flat and up. Now if you're doing this with dumbbells, you can use one dumbbell and hold it long ways to touch it to the ground. If you're using two dumbbells, then you're not going to touch the ground with them. Or you shouldn't, because you're probably losing that muscle engagement if you're going that far down with dumbbells. You probably only want to go to about here. Okay. So yeah, if you're using dumbbells, the main thing with that is just to go down as far as you can keep your back flat and come back up. For most people, that's about mid-calf or just below the knee. Again, we're not, so a lot of people tend to do this because the hip hinge is not something we do all the time. So if you're doing this, then you're doing more of a squat than you are the hip hinge. So you want to bend at those hips and keep that back flat. If you need to just do this a few times, pretend like you're going down to touch your toes, then that will help with that. All right, back to our toe taps. Again, press that back into the floor, get set up. Keep that core engaged. and now we're ready for the final set. You are welcome to do this a 4th time through if you wish. If you want a little extra work, that is fine. Just replay the video, go through it one more time, unless you've got it already memorized, for those with really good memories. If you need a chair behind you for these, by all means, put it there if that makes you feel more secure doing these with your form. Good form is better than just trying to jump straight in. So if you use a chair, then you can just bring yourself down to touch it and go back up. If you want to sit on it between each one, you can. Just try to keep your weight in your heels and don't let yourself sink back into the chair too far. All right, overhead press again. Remember, keep those shoulders down, 90-degree angle, and press up. And grab that resistance band or knee high again. We're gonna row. All right, hand in the middle and up and back. All right, and other side. Okay, and then grab your gallon of water for those deadlifts. This is one of my favorite exercises to do, the deadlift. And then to progress from there, we can start doing kettlebell swings, which we will do down the road when you're ready for them. Those are fun too. All right, bring that core in, push that back into the floor, make sure that your back is completely flush. Okay, and that is it. Again, you can repeat that one more time through if you like. Otherwise, you're done with the workout. So now go hit a cool down or one of the easy movement videos that I have for you. It's very important to cool down and stretch afterwards, so be sure you do that. And thanks for tuning in.